So welcome back to the Niagara Learning Channel. What we're going to do today is we're using a MAC36 NL controller, and we're going to put in the onboard I/O. So first of all, let's go into the station and go into config, drivers. Got the Niagara network there, so double click drivers, new. So the iSMA I/O network, click on OK. You can change it to whatever name you want to. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Could not invoke the command new. That's probably because the drivers aren't on there. So let's sort out the drivers for it. Yeah, missing module, iSMA I/O. So we need to find that module and add it to the system. We can do this in two ways. We can either go into the platform. I don't think I've got the module actually on this version. If we look at the version that I'm using, which is 4.120.156, I don't think the module's there for a start. So let's just have a look at that first. So let's go into our file system, drive C, and I want Niagara, and I'm using 056. I'm using this one here. Let's look at modules, and I'm looking for the iSMA I/O. So iSMA I/O, so it is there. Okay, so let's now go to the platform and go to software manager. There's two ways of doing this. The last video I showed you the way I use file transfers and put it across. This way now is the software manager way. It is a bit slow. Hopefully it doesn't need a reboot once we've put it in, but we'll soon find out. The other way is I would go to file transfer client and transfer it across, but come on, that's probably why I prefer the file transfer client, because it's faster. But here we go, it's populating now. And iSMA, so none of these are installed. iSMA, gone past it. iSMA I/O, them two modules. You only need to click one of them and the other one will actually come on. So if I do install, it should, oh no, it hasn't. Okay, I do install again then. Sometimes you click one of them and the other one will actually come on for installation. So let's commit that and see whether it needs a reboot or not. Looks like it doesn't. Okay, so now go back into drivers, new, iSMA I/O, yes, and there it is there. So let's go into that, new, iSMA I/O device. Now you can rename that if you want to, but again I don't bother. And then we go new. So we've got 4 digital inputs on this device, so let's do 4 of them. And new. Digital outputs, just looking at the device here, we have got 8 digital outputs. New. Universal inputs, we have 16. Now let's put them all, so we're not voltage, let's put them all to resistance. So I'm just going to highlight all them and change that voltage to resistance 10K3A1. Go OK. And then new, analog outputs, and we should have 6 of them, sorry, 8 of them. I'm thinking of an iSMA MAC36. So there are your digital outputs, and as you can see, you've got other options. So digital input counter, that's going to be if you're using a pulse. So you would probably change these digital inputs here. In fact, let's just do one. Let's delete that one there, and then we go new, and we're doing input counter. Enable it. Go OK. So that's at 1. So we need that to be at 4. So that's your digital input counter. Let's just show you how to rearrange these. Put this one back up to there. So I'm going to go to reorder. Take that and move it up past all these. And that should be it there. Yeah, digital input and the counter. You can change all the names of these, because that's actually digital input 1, that's going to be digital input 2, digital input 3, and that's going to be digital input 4. But that's going to be a pulse now, so we can put in a kilowatt hour meter to there, and every pulse it makes, it will count up. So that's how you add the iSMA IO points. And then what I normally do is I have under my logic folder which I create, I have a list of inputs and outputs. So UI1 there, I would link mark that, and then I'll go to the iSMA IO device. Universal input 1 is that one, and I'll link 2 out into in10. So that device now is there, and then I'll work from here. So I would link all my points. So let's just do another one. Link mark and UI2, link 2 out into 10. So UI3, according to that, is a Boolean, and I've got UI3 at the moment as a numeric. So what we can do there, we can go into there, and 1, 2, so this one there, we want to change that to a numeric point. We'll delete it and then change it. I think, oh, you can do it there, digital there, normal. Okay, so that's now a numeric point 3. So if I go back 1, link mark, and go to the 3 one, universal input 1, 2, 3, link 2 out into there. That's the 3 one there, and then we've got 4 and 5 are also them. So let's just do 4, expand the proxy, digital, go 5, expand the proxy, digital, save, go back a few times, link mark, link 2 into there, link mark, link 2 into there. I would advise changing these. So universal input 1 will be 1. There isn't a fast way to my knowledge of actually doing that. So I would start there, rename, and I'll put that to 16. Or you can just do UI 16. Control key C, rename UI15, rename, I'm not going to do them all. UI14, let's just rename these, rename. UI1, I'll just put a 01 there. Rename. UI2, rename. UI3, rename. UI4, rename. UI5, views, wire sheet. So if I take UI5 there and double click it, that takes me to UI5 on my sheet there. So that's my input sheet done, and then my outputs, I'm using AO1, AO2 and DO1, DO2, DO3. So link mark, go back to my iSMA. So that's AO1, link 2, link mark, link 2, and then digital input 1, link mark, digital output, sorry, 1, link 2, link mark, link 2, link mark, link 2. I have done them completely wrong. What an idiot. Don't follow that. That's not going to work in a million years. Link mark. What an idiot. Link from that into there. Link mark. Link from that into there. Link mark. Link from into there. Delete that one. Link mark. Link from out into there. Link mark. Link from that into there. So they're my outputs. So if I enable that output, that's now clicked on the unit. That's 2 on the unit. That's 3 on the unit. Emergency override to 10 volts. Yeah, that's A1 lit up. And that's A2 lit up. Sorry about that. What else can we do? That's adding the I/O anyway onto the onto your spreadsheet. Emergency auto. Actions, emergency auto. And then all you would do then is you won't work in this folder at all anymore now. You've got your inputs and your outputs, and then you can do all your logic to your various things. So I don't know what we've got here in the wire sheet. So there's no speed in this one. Pump A and pump B. Output to pump A is there. And then pump A, pump B and pump C, I don't think our outputs are, well, yeah, there's the 3 outputs there. So we can link mark that. And then link from, enable pump A into 10. Link from, enable pump B into 10. link from enable pump C into 10. So we've got 1 on at the moment, and it's showing 1 there, and we'll just enable that. Yeah, that's putting 2 on. And that's back off again. Okay, so that's the logic going to the outputs folder, and then the outputs logic is going to the iSMA IO network. So that's that there. So that output there is going to the iSMA IO network, which is that one there, the digital output on the iSMA device. You could go directly to it if you wanted to. You don't have to have an inputs and an outputs folder. You could directly link to the iSMA modules and rename them to whatever you wanted to. I just like an inputs and an outputs folder under my logic. It's a little bit more extra work, but I prefer it that way, and I tie all my alarms to these, so everything is in the logic. My alarms get tied to these, or my histories get tied to these, and all I've got this folder for is just my inputs and outputs, but all my work is actually done inside the logic folder with all my logic as well as my inputs and outputs. It's just the way I prefer it, but you can do it whichever way you want to, of course. It's your controls, you do what you want. So I'm just looking at some of the stuff that was on here that will be previous videos. Fan coils. So none of these are actually connected, so they're naturally going to be on the inputs, but I don't have any inputs, but let's just do one. So enable link mark, put that to this one, link to out, enable link mark UI4, put into there, safety. So if I override UI3, so that's now true, override the next one, so that's our safety done there. Loop is enabled. We've got a supply of 23 degrees. We've got a set point of 21, so we definitely want to be doing cooling. So that's hence the minus 100 there. Fan coil enabled, cooling coil is 100%. Heating coil actually is 0. And that is using select valve type. Okay, so either voltage or what have I got in here, or digital. Okay, actions set to digital, and of course that's then on, and that is actually off. I actually didn't know I wrote that, to be honest. I don't know why I did that, because naturally it's an installation and it's going to be whatever the installation is. You wouldn't need to select between digital or numeric, but that's done that there. So that's the digital now on, numeric is now off. Maybe I was on a previous video, I was just showing you how you could change things. I don't know, I can't remember the video. And that's back to numeric, but that's pointless. You wouldn't really need to use that. That's just playing around. We've got a dead band of 2 degrees there. So that differential in the T-stat, that 2 actually doesn't mean 2 degrees either way of the set point. You actually divide that by 2, so that's 1 degrees differential of the set point. So just because you see a 2 there, it's actually 1 degree either side. So if it was a 4, it'd be 2 degrees either side. The cooling PI loop. Okay, I think we've shown you how to do the iSMA devices by I/O, how to add the I/O from the MAC36, and we'll call it a day on that one. So thank you for watching. Bye.